by now, you probably know that the drama that was taking place in Philadelphia with a standoff with one man with a long gun who was a criminal, a drug dealer with an extensive record, and illegally had the firearm, illegally had the ammunition, was able to hold off an entire police department. One guy with one gun. Now, one could argue what the tactics that were that the Philadelphia police used. I don't know. I know they initially were going pistols against a long gun, and then the cry came out for long guns, long guns. In other words, they needed SWAT backup. I'm going to assume that they were wearing body protection. It's a miracle that the rifle rounds didn't penetrate and fatally wound any of these officers. I mean, they were very lucky, and I'm happy for that. But the purpose of this video is to show why government is afraid for citizens to have the same kind of firepower as the agents of government, which are law enforcement and soldiers. As long as citizens have that kind of capability and know how to use it, the agents of government will always be cautious, as they should. As they should. It is better for them to err on the part of safety and freedom of people than exercise their power. But a lot of politicians and police chiefs and some sheriffs don't want that. They want to be able to overpower any citizen for any infraction. Remember, we use the term law abiding, but keep in mind that can change overnight. All that has to happen is there an assault weapons ban, and all of us are now felons overnight. Why? We are no longer law abiding because we're standing up for our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. So that law abiding status can change at the whim of politicians. That is why the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed to government. That says there is no law that you can write that shall infringe or take away the right of a citizen, any citizen, to keep and bear arms. That is also the reason that the anti-gun community or crowd is terrified, and all kinds of editorials are coming out. Even some Democratic House members are threatening the Supreme Court if they rule that this next case coming up for New York, the city of New York says the right to bear arms extends outside the home. And oh, by the way, any law must meet strict scrutiny. Now, what that would do is that would pretty much nullify all existing anti-gun laws. Now, the anti-gun crowd is saying, well, that would take away the ability of politicians to implement, quote, common sense, close quote, gun legislation. Well, it's getting really, really intense with that conversation. So to come back to Philadelphia, that is a classic reason how the power of being armed can help a citizen, and I know that was a bad guy, but that's not my point, can help citizens stand up to agents of government. So when people say, well, you can't stand up to the government, they've got all the gun. No, there are many, many more citizens that are armed than there are law enforcement that are armed. And what that does is say to government, you need to whenever you start to feel froggy, that you're really going to start taking away constitutional rights, that's not going to end well. That's not going to end well. So I thought I'd comment on this, and I'd be interested in some of your thoughts as well. So as always, thanks for watching. Carry on.